Walk into Esther's apartment and you'll find a 2015 Toyota Corolla key on a hook by the door. There's a slow cooker on the counter with dinner already simmering and a brokerage account she hasn't logged into since she bumped up her contribution last January. Her couch is fine. Her TV is definitely not new. There's a calendar on the fridge with 401k plus 1% written on the first of every year, going all the way back to 2019. Now, walk into Karen's place. The first thing you notice is the $3,800 espresso machine still sitting in its box, a Black Friday purchase she just hasn't had time to set up. There's a stack of Amazon returns by the door, 2 Robinhood alerts flashing on her phone screen, and a parking receipt for the $47 a day downtown spot because the $22 lot is a painful 6-minute walk. Karen has been meaning to check her credit card balance since October. Honestly, she's a little scared to look. Here's the catch. Esther and Karen live in the same city. They have the exact same job title. Their salaries are so close that the difference doesn't even come close to explaining what I'm about to show you. At 36 years old, Esther has $340,000 in investments. Karen has $11,000 and a $780 a month car payment she has to talk herself out of regretting every single time she turns the ignition. This is not a story about income. This is a story about 8 habits so unglamorous, so deeply unsexy that most people skip them entirely while they wait for the big break that actually moves the needle. My name is Ed, and I spend way too much time running the math on why some people escape the financial hamster wheel. If you've ever looked at your bank account at the end of a month where nothing went wrong, but still felt like your money was leaking, hit subscribe, because today we are finding the leak. Before we get to the list, we need to address the lie the financial media is selling you right now. The lie is this: you haven't built wealth yet because you haven't found the right thing, the right investment, or the right moment to get in. But a massive study of over 10,000 regular American millionaires revealed that 79% received 0 inheritance. A third of them never even made 6 figures in a single year. It took them a median of 28 years to build their wealth. Not 28 years of genius, just 28 years of doing boring stuff while compound interest did the heavy lifting. Which brings us to habit 1. Automate your savings before your brain gets involved. Look at Grace Groner. She was a secretary at Abbott Laboratories. In 1935, she bought 3 shares of Abbott stock for $180, set up automatic dividend reinvestment, and then essentially did nothing. When she died in 2010 at age 100, those 3 shares had compounded into $7.2 million. Here's why automation beats willpower every single time. Vanguard data shows that retirement plans with automatic enrollment hit a 94% participation rate. Voluntary enrollment, just 64%. 30% of human behavior disappears the moment saving becomes a decision instead of a default. Because when you make a decision, you are forcing your brain to choose between something real right now and something abstract in 30 years. The future loses that fight almost every time. You cannot out-discipline human nature, so don't try. Move the money before you ever see it. The average new car payment in America is now $748 a month. Dealerships make that feel manageable by stretching the loan from 4 years to 6, from 6 to 7, and yes, we've now entered the era of the 10-year car loan. The monthly number goes down, but the total you pay skyrockets, all for an asset that loses half its value in 3 years. By year 5 of a 7-year loan, you owe more than the car is worth. So what do people do? They trade it in, roll the negative equity into a new loan, and restart the clock. At that point, the truck isn't transportation anymore. It's a personality trait. It's $900 a month of identity that you'll still be paying for in 2031, while the truck is worth $14,000 and your coffee machine is broken. If you invested that $748 a month in an S&P 500 index fund at 10% for 30 years, it becomes $1.69 million. Ronald Reed was a gas station attendant and a janitor who drove a used Toyota Yaris, $8 million to her local library and hospital. The car payment is the most expensive status symbol in America. Opt out. Let's check back in on Esther and Karen. Esther runs her slow cooker twice a week, spends about $80 at the grocery store, and eats at home. Karen orders DoorDash 4 nights a week, hits a restaurant on Friday, and grabs a $15 lunch near the office daily because packing food takes 15 minutes she supposedly doesn't have. Karen spends roughly $900 a month on food. Esther spends $420. That $480 monthly gap invested at 10% for 25 years is approximately $630,000. $500,000 from a slow cooker and a slightly boring Sunday. A home-cooked meal averages $5 per serving. A restaurant meal averages $23. Nobody frames Tuesday night takeout as a wealth decision because it feels too small. It's just dinner, right? But Tuesday, compounded over 25 years, is massive. The bank's job is not to tell you what you can comfortably afford. The bank's job is to give you the maximum loan it believes you can sustain without immediately defaulting. Those are two completely different numbers. The gap between what you qualify for and what you should actually spend is where people spend the next 30 years feeling quietly trapped. If a household earning $100,000 keeps their housing costs at 25% instead of stretching to 35%, they free up $10,000 a year. Invested over 30 years, that's $1.8 million. Buying the second best house instead of the absolute best one gives you margin. The HVAC breaks? Fine. The car needs new brakes? Fine. You don't lie awake at 3 a.m. running mental math hoping nothing else breaks because something breaking doesn't threaten everything. That feeling of being able to absorb a shock without a crisis is what financial security actually is. You get a $5,000 raise. Your take-home pay goes up maybe $300 a month. Within 90 days, your spending has mysteriously undergone a $300 upgrade. Maybe it's a nicer apartment, a premium parking spot, or just higher-end groceries. You can't even specifically name it. The money just absorbed. The hedonic adaptation mechanism here is your brain makes every new baseline feel normal in about 3 months. That $200 dinner is special the first time. By the 15th time, it's just a Tuesday that costs $200. The fix is insultingly simple. The moment a raise is confirmed, before your first new paycheck arrives, log into your 401k or brokerage and increase your automatic contribution. Your lifestyle never learns what it was supposed to get, so it can't miss it. Let's talk about the most boring sentence in finance and the one that statistically beats almost every alternative. Buy a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, automate your contributions, and leave it completely alone. Dalbar's report found that average investors routinely underperform the market by over 8% because they try to time things. They try to be clever. The stock market rewards patience and actively punishes cleverness. The boring choice isn't the consolation prize, it is the strategy. And right alongside that is habit 7, the emergency fund. A 3 to 6 month cash reserve doesn't compound. It won't make you rich, but it is the reason your financial life survives contact with reality. 1 in 3 adults puts an emergency on a credit card at 22% interest. You cannot build wealth at 10% while financing emergencies at 22%. The emergency will eat the investment every single time. Finally, habit 8. Sleep on every major purchase for 72 hours. Impulse desire has a half-life. The emotional urgency of a purchase drops significantly within 24 to 72 hours. The thing that felt like an absolute necessity at 11 p.m. Tuesday feels entirely optional by Thursday morning. The 72-hour rule isn't willpower, it's a timer. You're not saying no, you're just saying check back Friday. Most of the time, Friday arrives and the answer is no by default. Let's close the loop on Esther and Karen. Esther isn't wealthy yet, but at her current trajectory, by 55, she'll have between $1.2 and $1.5 million. She won't change careers, she'll just keep doing the unsexy things and let 19 more years of compounding handle the math. Karen isn't a failure. She's just been optimizing for how things feel in the moment instead of what they add up to over time. None of these habits are actually about restriction or being cheap. They are about one specific kind of power, the
the power to absorb what life throws at you. The habits aren't the point. The point is what they protect. They protect your margin. They give you the option to say no to a job you hate and the ability to retire before your body forces you to. You aren't building a portfolio balance. You are building options. Pick one habit from this list. Do it this week. The compound effect doesn't require perfection. It just requires that you stop waiting for the exciting version of wealth building to show up. It won't. This is the version, and it works. If this gives you a different way to think about your money, hit the like button and subscribe. Drop in the comments the financial trap you think I left out that you know about. See you in the next one.